We're going to find the inverses of square matrices, and we're going to use this concept in this formula for 2x2s, and then we're going to go to a graphing technology for the 3x3. But let's first start with a 2x2 definition of an inverse matrices. So for matrix A equals A, B, C, D, so this is a 2x2, the determinant of a 2x2 matrix can be found by doing AD minus BC. And then we can take this determinant and use it to find the inverse of the function. And we denote an inverse as a to the negative 1 power. And this only exists if a is equal to 2, or a is not equal to 0. And it's a determinant of a not equal to 0. So if a is equal to the matrix A, B, C, D, and a has an inverse, then the inverse is equal to 1 over the determinant of a times D, negative B, C, and A. So let's jump into this. Let's jump straight into this. And again, if you need to pause the video to write this down, go right ahead, but we're going to keep trucking along. So the first matrix we're going to look at is matrix A. So matrix A is a 2x2 matrix consisting of 4, 1, negative 1, and 2. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the determinant. So DETA is equal to A times D, so 4 times 2, which is 8, minus negative 1 times 1. Negative 1 times 1 is going to be negative 1. 8 minus a negative 1 is going to be 9. Now, to find my inverse, I'm going to do the inverse of A is equal to 1 over the determinant of A times 2, negative 1, 1, and 4. So remember, some of these have position changes. Going back to that example, so we have position changes here for D and A, and we have sign changes for C and B. So we did that right here. Now what I'm going to do is, I do know that the determinant is 9, so I'm going to do 1 over 9 times 2, negative 1, 1, 4. And what we get through multiplication is 2/9, 1/9, negative 1/9, and 4/9. So now I can say that the inverse of A is 2, 9, 1/9, negative 1/9, and 4/9. All right, to check this, we could plug this into a calculator. And how I would do this is I would do 4, 1, negative 1, 2 times 2, 9, 1/9, negative 1/9, and 4/9. And I would see if this equals the 1, 0, 0, 1 matrix. And what we will find is, if this answer is correct, it should produce an identity matrix. Now what I'm going to do here is, I cannot project my calculator onto the device I have, but I'm going to kind of go through the steps. So I'm going to go to second inverse, or basically the matrix, and I'm going to type in my matrix 4, make this a 2x2 matrix, 4, 1, negative 1, 2. And I will actually, instead of looking for that, I will look to see that this is indeed the values that I'm looking for, and it is. So we got this correct. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is, we're going to look at matrix B. Matrix B is going to equal 6, 8, 3, and 4. All right, so let's find the determinant. DTB is equal to 6 times 4 minus 3 times 8. And this is going to equal 0. Well, we don't have an inverse here because our determinant is equal to 0. Remember, we only have an inverse if our determinant isn't equal to 0. So looking at this now, we'll just say no inverse. Matrix. Or the inverse matrix does not exist, to be more exact. So the inverse matrix does not NTO, not exist. All right, so there we have it for the second one. Let's look at the third one. And this one, again, I will be referring to a calculator. I cannot project the calculator, so I'll write down what buttons you're going to be needing for this on the left-hand side, because we cannot do this currently with your knowledge by hand. So we will need the use of that graphing calculator. I love how my bracket doesn't come all the way down. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, the keys that I'm going to use are second, and then a key that looks like x to the -1. Here you're going to get into the matrix menu that way. You're going to scroll 2 times to the left to the tab edit. Here you will be prompted with a bunch of different matrix A through J. You could just go with matrix A if you don't have anything in there. Even if you do, you can still go with matrix A. So I would select 1A. You don't have to. You could go with C to keep this matrix and this matrix named the same. Once you get in there, you're going to do matrix. And then it'll have something that looks like this. Then you'll have your little blinky here. You're going to make a 3 by 3, which will then give you a bunch of zeros. 2, 3. And so fill in those zeros. Second step, we need to find the determinant. So you're going to do the second. So I'm just pressing my keys just to make sure there's nothing else. So to get out of this one, sorry, let's go back a little bit, and that's why I was pressing the keys. To get out of this matrix, to get back into the place you need to go, you're going to hit second and then mode. This will take you back to the main screen and to step 2. Step 2, you're going to again go into that matrix menu, second x1, or sorry, x to the -1. And you're going to go over 1 time to where it says math. And you'll see there that number 1 is DET. Hit enter. Now, third step is you will then hit again second x -1. This time you just stay under the name name tab, and you're going to select number 1, your matrix. Alright, so what your screen should look like after that is DET parentheses matrix A. You could go ahead and close those parentheses. And what you would get in this case is, after you do that, is you'd get -2. Okay, so now for the inverse, what you're going to do is you're going to go under the names here. So I'll hide this. So step 4. You're going to do second x to the negative 1. You're going to be under the names tab. And then what you're going to select here is 1, your A matrix. So in your window now you should see the A matrix. And then the next step you're going to do, step 5, is you're just going to hit that x to the negative 1 key. And what should appear here is a negative 1. When you do that, this will give you your inverse function. And this looks like 2, 3.5, negative 0.5, 0, negative 1, 0, negative 1, I never draw these long enough, negative 1.5, and 0.5. Right, and so that is my inverse matrix, and this is using a graphing device to do this. These are the step-by-steps. Again, if you need any graphing help, this is actually a quick search on any search engines to find the steps for these. So, guys, if you have any questions, need any help with any of these, always feel free to contact me, especially for the calculator portion, because I had to write this out. But I will catch you in my next video.